Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the On Time, On Target morning show. Well, the Roblox IPO is finally behind us. Hopefully that, excuse me, went like you'd hoped. For most people out there, for some people, it just got too expensive by the time it finally hit the market where they had their limit order. Then they would have just missed it. I will talk openly about how I played it through the open as far as where I was moving my prices to where when it finally did open around 2 p.m. Eastern, I think maybe 1:30 Eastern is when it finally opened, of the price that I accepted and the price that I put in there. And then, of course, we'll talk about the price during the action during yesterday, where it got up to $79 during the day yesterday, and then overnight at 4:05 Eastern and went all the way up to $92. So it got a little crazy there for a while. It settled in at 76, so opened up about 10% from where it was yesterday. So day over day, even if you got it at what turned out to be the opening price at 64.50, not 45, would have loved that one, right? But the opening price of 64.50 still turned out to be pretty good. So the question becomes, what do you do now? If you don't have any, do you buy some still? Do you not buy any? Do you wait? If you have some but you want more, do you add here and ruin your cost basis? So that's what we're going to talk about in today's show. There's a lot of different strategies. I will give you my take and tell you what I'm doing for myself and my clients. With that, let's see. If you're catching us on replay, make sure you hit notifications bell as well as subscribe. If you want to join us live, there's a chat window and a Q&A window off to the side where we communicate with each other. And with that, let's go ahead and get started. All right, welcome back, everyone. Here is our lineup card for the day, Thursday, March 11th. Crazy busy day yesterday. Wow, was that busy getting everybody in on Roblox or deciding not to once it opened, that sort of thing. But we'll talk through all of that here in a minute. For your two windows, make sure you have those open, select all attendees selected and using a call sign as well. Standard disclaimer applies. This is a financial education presentation, so you have to do your own due diligence for acting upon anything here today. And full disclaimer information is available at OTOTnow.com. All right, as far as our mission objectives, grow our money, protect our money, and live off our money. Well, we're talking about now what is the scenario for Roblox, and I'll show you the charts here in a minute, because talking through it now will make more sense when there's a chart in front of us as to how it went down, what happened, all of that. But we're also going to talk significantly about cost basis this morning. We're going to come back to that kind of after the open to talk about, why is that important for you? Well, if it's not in a taxable account, good on you. If you got the Roblox in an IRA, you just don't care. Traditional IRA, you'll pay taxes later and you're not worried about it with your current age, most of you. And as far as if you're in a Roth IRA, it's tax-free forever. That's the beauty of the Roth out there. So that's what we're going to talk about for our topics today. Our flow will be long, short, open, short, long. We're going to take a look at the market review around the world, pretty much in the green around the world, and the headlines are in the green as well. Stimulus should be either signed late today or tomorrow to go officially into effect, and we'll kind of move on from that. For long-term investments, we're going to talk about is Roblox, obviously. Facebook, I'll go back to 2012 with the Facebook IPO and talk about the numbers there. So if you think you missed it, I'm going to run through that scenario, and I think you'll find that informative. Palantir and is in play again today. The contract I couldn't remember yesterday. I felt like a fool when I went back and looked at it, but the contract I couldn't remember is with AWS services. You may have heard of them. Amazon Web Services. Holy crap, that was a huge contract yesterday. They've got another contract today. So when you look at over at our number one long today, it's Palantir, PLTR. Even as a day trade, the thing is poised to scream higher. I've got a website for you to show you with the folks that they have a 6-year contract they entered with today. It's really pretty cool stuff. We'll get in the excuse me, short-term execution. You have 3 longs there: Palantir, Neo, and Kern. I like Palantir and Neo. Kern's just kind of an extra one out there. So and in short, Oracle is the only short that is out there that meets our criteria. I would not short Oracle, nor would I short into a market that is as strong as the market is this morning. We'll get into contingencies and academic resources. Those are standard. Excuse me, the cough is back and I hate it. I think it's allergy time this time. Anyway, all right, let's take a look at over here on the right at Roblox. We'll go out to a smaller chart here just to kind of show you the action. So things opened at 60.45 yesterday. Again, we thought it was at 45, so I took my, initially I said, hey, put your limit at 50, right? Well, obviously that didn't work. So if you're watching CNBC throughout the day, they said, hey, opening range is probably 55 to 60. And then they said, probably 60 to 65. Then they were like, maybe as high as 70. So what I did was I had all the orders in, I pulled up all the open orders, and I went through and I changed all of them to 75 was the price I was willing to pay. How did I come up with that? Well, I had to look at the long-term chart. So let's look at a long-term chart of Facebook. So Facebook is sitting here at $265. Well, Facebook opened, if you remember, at $25. It went up to $43 in the first day or two. And if you remember, this is 2012 for those that don't recall exactly, but it went up to $43, I think, and then it crashed. And people are like, when is it a buy? And I said 15. So it crashed all the way. Remember, all the movie stars were in it, and then it started crashing. Everybody's selling. It's like, boo, Facebook is the worst. This is like MySpace, it's dumb. And it went all the way down to, I'd called 15. I was living in the Middle East at the time, and I said 15 is the buy point. I finally broke down when it got below 17 and started buying, and it dipped somewhere into the 16s. Well, that was a beautiful cost basis of 16, and look where it is now. So here's the point. If you're sweating whether you got in at 64 for 50 or you bought in later that day at 70, or you're looking at it this morning, okay, if you roll out 9 years that Facebook's been public, Facebook is at 265. If you bought shares in the IPO range, which again was the high of 43 all the way down to 17 a few days later, do you care? Yes, there's a huge difference between 17 and 45 or 43, but if it's going to 265, you don't care. That's where the mentality here is. If you love this company, if you think it's the future, I think gaming meets social media. There's a lot, I had the numbers yesterday, like 1,250 people are making, more than $50,000 out of this game already as developers, games within games. So if you think this is the future, then just buy some. Because if you have none and it goes to 265 or 500 or 1,000, think Tesla, how crazy that got. You're going to wish you had some. So generally you want some. Now, if you have some, you don't really want to add here. Now you kind of hope, well, let's just hope they miss a quarter and maybe they come down into the 40s like they should have been, and then I'll load up. So that's kind of where you have to really apply good money management to the situation. So again, Facebook flopped all over the place at the IPO. It's at 270. Anybody who got in 2012 is so happy they don't really care. What's going to happen with Roblox? I don't know. If you have some, be happy and wait. If you don't have any, buy a little. That sort of mentality, just so you've participated a little bit. Okay, let's back out, talk about some of the longer term stuff. So here we are, we're back up in our channel. So 4 days up in a row in the Dow. Pretty big bounce out of the NASDAQ earlier in the week. Not so much yesterday, but almost 2% up this morning. When we take a look at where we've been in the SPY and zoom in on the 5-day, well, gosh, you can even tell from this chart, it's been basically straight up, if you will, pretty much rising across the board. both value and growth. Setting up for our day trades, we got Palantir, we have NEO, and another long that came out late was JD, is what we'll take a look at. JD.com. There we go. On a 1 minute chart. All right, let's go back to, excuse me. Let's go back to the headlines and take a look around the world here. All right. There are futures, refresh those real quick so we see where the NASDAQ is. 1.66, so pretty high up there. Futures and Dow, obviously, Dow's at a record, so it's powering higher as well. All right, over in Europe, FTSE slightly off a little bit. Again, that's England. Everything else is in the green. Asia in the green, pretty strong. 2.3 in China. Here's our numbers from, yep, they blanked them out, so never mind. Here's the 10-year. Everybody's worried about inflation, right? So worried about the, let me update the room there. I saw a name show up late. Everybody's worried about this 10-year. It's kind of chilling out down at the 1.5 range. Oil's back up. There's talks here locally of a gas shortage. What diesel and premium are running a little low. It's not anything to freak out about, but certainly in this area, we are prone to freaking out. That is one thing folks show. Let's see. Precious metals are up a little bit. Even Bitcoin's up almost 57. So again, at 31, we've almost got a double in what, weeks? I don't even remember when we bought in, but it doesn't matter. You're holding for 100. 100K that is, or 100 in the GBTC. Okay. Siegel kind of walking back what he was saying yesterday about it's a value game. It's like, no, he's calling a 10% up move. Jobless claims came in this morning lighter than expected, so that's good. We'll get the official unemployment numbers tomorrow. There's Roblox into Kathy Wood, one of her funds, so obviously a big stamp of approval there. She's a hot name right now. Pfizer guy, I thought with Pfizer CEO was on CNBC this morning saying all the right things, meaning take the first vaccine that you can get your hands on. Don't just wait for ours or any other one out there. Just take what you can get and move on. Because people are getting kind of fancy with these now of what they will and what they won't take. All right, relief bill we talked about, and then Bumble had its first earnings. Remember, Bumble's the dating app where females take the lead. They had IPO'd not too long ago, kind of jumped on the IPO and then sold off hard. Well, they beat earnings, so they're on the way back up. Also, AMC beat earnings. So I have the Wall Street bet names in there. I call it nonsense because I don't know how to trade it. But if you just need something that's in motion, GME and costs are down big this morning, and then AMC long. AMC did actually have earnings. So get this, AMC strategy is to charge more for tickets now because they expect reduced capacity when they return. We're going to charge more because people really want the experience. It's like, okay, have fun with your charging more. Okay, we talked about Facebook. So let's not pull that chart. Let's look at PLTR. I'm telling you, now's a good time to buy. You're like, well, yeah, this whole range is a huge time to buy right here. We had the Amazon Web Services contract yesterday, which I blanked on the name, but they also have a 6-year contract now with Faurecia, which I had not heard, but check this out. So Cockpit for the Future, this is all I know is this little video here in the upper left, but watch this when it cycles through to this thing right here. So you've got the self-driving thing, right? So there went the, there's our person sitting in the seat, and you have your steering wheel. Well, part of the autonomous driving experience, I guess, I don't know, kind of a car guy, so it freaks me out, is the steering wheel is going to actually go back into the dashboard. Like what? I'm not sure I'm mentally ready for that, but I certainly, if we're going to trust cars to drive for us, that should be part of it, right? So I kind of call this like Hollywood dating. I think Palantir is a hot name, and I think this Faurecia, if that's even pronounced right, is a hot name technology-wise. As far as I know, they're private. So anyhow, Palantir is doing all the right things to get their name out there. Okay, enough of that, and let's go over to set up for the market open over on TDA ThinkPipes. All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the on-time, on-target play of the day. We have the SPY on the far left pane. That's a 1-minute chart. Futures are up big. NASDAQ's up super big. Palantir is gapping up. You can see it 25 all the way gapped up to 25.8. That's my number one long name. We just looked at a video from a company that have a new contract, and they also have a new contract with AWS systems yesterday. And then we also have NEO based on some Chinese EV numbers that came in overnight. There's the opening bell. Get ready to take Palantir here pretty quick. I'm hoping it sells off a little bit before we can take it higher. Again, looking for about a 40-cent stop here. So probably if it touches 26, that's when I'm going to take it. Again, taking it long here at 26 with a 30-cent stop is what we will use for Palantir long. NEO, the story there is, ooh, good. We're going to get a little better entry maybe. NEO, the story is looking down here. Where is it? Okay, auto sales in China, electric vehicle auto sales increased by 400% year over year in February. So huge numbers coming out of China. That's 11 straight months of gains out of China in electric vehicle sales. So you think NEO, XPEV, and are kind of the bigger names out there as well. All right. So here's our, we're going to hit our 26, and we're going to use 25.7 as our lower end stop here. I'm just going to make a note for myself. I'm not in the trade yet. Wait for it to hit. Okay, there it is. 26. We're in the name now. We're taking that long. All the congestion is out. Oh, come on. It's gonna go so fast. I can't even draw the daggone line. So we're in at 26. This is a long. The stop is out here down at 25.7 down at the bottom. So slaughtering my drawings. So this is our stop, the 30-cent stop. So 26.30 is our first R unit. That's a 100% gain on our money. And again, we're holding for that 300% gain. So 26.60 is the 2R point. 26.90 is your exit point for the trade. Let's see if I can back out if it gives that to us. Nope, it does not. So we'll stay focused in here. If you don't try to add on this here, wait for it to come back to you down in the 26 range before you add. Again, the 25.70 is over a dime from the low of the day. So that's our protection level that we have in. Let's see, if you want a second entry in NEO, I do like the fact that it sold all the way down, established 43.70 as the floor. It's a 50 cent, so that would put it up at 44.20 would be your entry point going back north. 44.10 I would feel comfortable with. I'm not going to call the trade officially, but 44.10 if it goes up north from here with a 43.70 stop as well. So let's draw that arrow, and then I'm going to move on and take a look at what else is going on around the world. And again, you have to wait for it to go up in here and hit 44.10 before it goes up. If it breaks a new low, then all of this would be off. All right, JD just kind of hanging out. Let's use this over here and see what's going on in the world. All right, back over in Palantir, you do have an opportunity right around that 26 range if you want to take the late entry into the trade. All right, Kern was the other name we were going to look at long. I don't know what Kern does, except for sell off. All right, so they were up 17%. Again, a smaller price point here. So huge move up. Gosh, that's like 60% earlier. They kind of settled into trading there. So not a bad floor set here if you're looking to take something else long. Let's see, Oracle, we'd called that short. Tough to short into this market. Again, if you look at the left chart, all we're seeing is green and greener, if you will. NASDAQ's at 1.72, so wouldn't really go short at all. But Oracle, the issue that they had is they had earnings, which I'm not seeing pop up, but they guided down. They said they're going to have a problem trying to, so don't enter this trade. It never did hit the enter area, so this one is not going to work here in a NEO. I still like it long term, so if you don't have any NEO, you can consider picking something up, but certainly as far as a trade, don't trade it here today. Oracle's having a long term when they say cloud migration is delayed, so anytime you're talking about a major project being delayed, that's going to hit the stock. So anyhow, that's what's going on in Oracle. All right, the last one was Party City. Missed earnings. You can see their earnings down here. It looks like they actually beat earnings because that's in green. All right, we're out of the trade here in Palantir. It did knock us out at the 25.70 point. Don't turn that into an investment, but if you sit back and look at a different amount of investment, is a pretty good entry point for Palantir long term. For Party City, so you're looking at almost 10% down. They had all kinds of negative numbers in their earnings call this morning, where they talking about potentially closing stores and things. So negative story there in Party City. All right, let's go ahead and zoom out here, get out of our trading mode and into, yeah, we didn't look at Roblox. So let's just take a look at how that, put that chart up while we're talking about it. See what's going on this morning. So 5-minute chart, that's why you only see a couple candle ticks. So it's pretty stable here at 75. Let's just continue our story on. So do you buy here? Like I said, if you don't have any, you might want to grab, 10 shares here. That's $750. Okay. That will establish your cost basis. And then if it goes down into the 60s, you can average that cost basis down by adding more. If you have the, the entry level from yesterday, the 64.50 cost basis, I wouldn't be in a hurry to add here, right? It's like you got a nice cost basis. You'll start to ruin it a little bit. Say you doubled your position, but your cost basis now goes from 64.50 to half of this, right? So it's at 70, 71 some. It's like, why do that? Just be patient. We don't know if this thing is going to go to 100 or 50 first. We know we don't know, but we think long-term it's going to 300, 500. So as a long-term investor, you don't care. But as a short-term investor, which people get all kinds of wrapped around the axle about, you do care, and you care a whole lot. But in the big picture, if it's going to 300 in a few years, then yeah, anywhere in here is a good place to buy. That's why you should probably pick up a little bit of it. If you don't have it. And that's what I'm doing for clients today. It's a bad entry from, compared to yesterday, but it'll be a good entry when the thing's at 300. So that's how you kind of manage that. So it's leading the leaderboard here at 10%. Some other tech names, MongoDB, K-Web's been beaten up, so it's nice to see it getting some love. CRISPR Therapeutics, high risk, but if you want to be on gene editing, gene manipulation, if you think that's the future, there's CRISPR's probably your best pure play there. Twilio, tech name, 10-cent holdings getting some love. I don't have JD in the book, but you saw JD.com is getting some love. Used to have JD, but boy, was that painful. There's our NEO, 4%, Palantir 4%. So those names have sold off where they were when they were in our trading zone, but they're still right there. All right, so lots of names up big in the green. Let's see who our losers are. Kind of an older name, if you will, with big dividend, Verizon, Bank of America, Dominion. I like the entry on Dominion here. I really do. So if you're older in retirement, living off dividends, you're getting a good 3.5% here and a really good entry point. And all things considered, it doesn't look like it on this chart, but if you back it out to this chart, it does, right? So it bebopped all the way down here. They've beaten some earnings. They're paying their dividend again. You saw they didn't pay it for a while. So life is getting good and it's going higher, in my opinion. Not today, but over the long term. JP Morgan, so you see a couple of bank names selling off here, but overall, really not that much selling off and not that big. We haven't seen a Bitcoin chart yet. So GBTC up 2.5%. Maybe I missed on the other chart. Not quite to an all-time high at 58, but tough to buy in right here. Will it go below 50? I don't know. Hopefully you pick some up since we've been talking about it. If not, I would say, just wait and hope that you get something that drives it back down so you can pick some up. But I wouldn't chase it here. Okay. All right, let's go over to CNBC.com and talk cost basis real quickly. Cost basis is the original prices an asset was acquired, for tax purposes. So you buy your Roblox and you get 64.50, high fives across the board. Whether you have 10 shares, 10,000 shares, doesn't matter. That is your cost basis. If it is in a Roth, you don't care. You'll never pay taxes again. If it's in a traditional, then you don't care because you're not worried about taxes. Now you're worried about it when you're 72 and you have to start taking out of this account and you're paying tax on everything you put into it. So again, Roth is better almost always. There are a few occasions where it's not, but you're likely not going to fall on those occasions. And then lastly, if it's in your taxable account, which is really what you care about here, which is how a lot of, so for the younger folks in the room, you're probably investing in a taxable account, a custodial account, if you will. Well, you can file taxes and you won't have to file on your own. Your parents can just file them with theirs. But yeah, if you make a significant amount of money, you can be affected by the kiddie tax, which has some pretty poor tax brackets associated with it. So, so that's where you care. You always want to make money. You always want to make money first, worry about taxes along the way, I should say, not second, but along the way. You don't want to not make money just to avoid paying taxes, right? That's self-defeating behavior. So don't do that. Your capital gains are going to be calculated by the difference from the sale price and the cost basis. So just know that that is the capital gains. You can go into your brokerage and click on cost basis and look at both your unrealized gains, which is the money that if you took your entire account to cash, the right click sell all, that's the tax bill you would owe. If you want to go to realized gains, you can actually click and look at your tax bill throughout the year to see what you've already acquired. And you may do that. When you get into tax loss harvesting, that's what I do and money managers do, and you should do it as well, towards the end of the year. And if you have assets that are down in your taxable account, you should sell those, even if you love them. Just sell them, take that loss so you reduce your taxes, and then buy it back 30 days later. Trust me, that's better than just holding losers till the end of time. If you have something that's gone bankrupt, you can write off that entire loss in a taxable account. Don't just let it sit there at $0 in your account and make you depressed every day. So when you reinvest dividends, so you buy it, say, buy a stock at $100, and then it pays out this nice big dividend and you reinvest that, right? Well, your cost basis gets changed every time you reinvest. So you have your 100 shares, which is your big amount, and say you pick up a share or two, say it's 2 shares. So over the course of a year, that's a 2% dividend. Whatever price point that is going into, that's called dollar cost averaging, but also affects your overall average cost basis. So that's what you can see. When you pull up your history, you'll see the big buy, and then you'll see all these entries, right? That's one reason why I don't like reinvesting dividends. That's an opinion. For most people, reinvesting dividends is the right thing. That's how you get that long-term growth. Why I don't do it is because I like accounts to build up cash, because if they build up cash naturally, then I always have cash on hand to be able to buy something else. Okay? Because I'm a net buyer. I'm buying almost every day. So if you're going to put it on autopilot or you don't know what to do, reinvesting is your friend. If you're looking at it every day, all day, then it's not, because I want the cash to be able to deploy elsewhere. So, all right, that is all I've got for you today. Thank you so much for checking in. Go market, go. We got the NASDAQ up 1.5%. And one last check on Roblox, still going to say it right here eventually, up 11% or so. So keeps kicking. All right, with that, I'm gonna let you guys go. We'll see you back tomorrow. I'm gonna be at a deployed location. So hopefully I'll have a fun intro for you tomorrow, and we'll see you tomorrow morning.